3 days into the Clint Kubiak era, the Las Vegas Raiders looked close to perfect, and it did not start where anyone expected. It did not start with the number 1 overall pick, and it did not start with the 37-year-old veteran taking first-team reps. It started with a defensive tackle who was a healthy scratch 8 times as a rookie last season, a player who spent Thursday morning lined up with the first-team defense next to Max Crosby. His coordinator was asked what changed about him. The answer had nothing to do with athletic ability. It is the smallest detail of this camp so far, and it is the loudest one. Kirk Cousins opened camp as the starter, and Kubiak said so before the first practice. Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman winner, who went 16-0 at Indiana, signed a fully guaranteed 4-year contract worth $57.27 million and has looked sharper every day running the second unit. Brock Bowers caught 2 red zone touchdowns from Cousins on Friday. Ashton Jeanty is the lead back behind a line this front office spent $81 million to fix. And one move this offseason was supposed to end an era in Las Vegas completely. It collapsed in 5 days. The wreckage is why this defense looks the way it does. The defense is where the money actually went. Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean arrived from Green Bay and Philadelphia for a combined $76.5 million. And Kwity Paye came over from Indianapolis. Eric Stokes signed for $30 million over 3 years to play outside corner. Taron Johnson, the veteran nickel the Raiders traded for, picked off the first pass of Camp Friday after Darian Porter got a hand on it. Rob Leonard is calling a defense for the first time in his career. All of it points at one division, and that division has been merciless. Denver has swept Las Vegas 2 seasons in a row. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Raiders and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 200 likes on this video. Start with the quarterback room, because that is where the doubt lives. Kirk Cousins is 37 years old, entering his 15th season, and his deal with Las Vegas is functionally 1 year and $20 million fully guaranteed, with Atlanta paying $8.7 million of it. He has now played on a fully guaranteed contract for 11 straight seasons, which is its own strange record. He threw for 1,721 yards with 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions across 10 appearances last season before the Falcons released him. None of that reads like a bridge you build a season on. 3 practices in, he has looked like the most comfortable player on the field. The reason is scheme. Cousins played for Clint Kubiak in Minnesota, and offensive coordinator Andrew Janocko has coached him before as well. That familiarity is exactly why Fernando Mendoza is not being rushed, and Kubiak has said he would rather a young quarterback learn behind a veteran when the situation allows it. The rookie threw 41 touchdowns against 6 interceptions at Indiana last season, completed 72% of his passes, won the Heisman, and went undefeated. He is one of only 3 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era to win a Heisman and a national title before going number 1 overall, joining Cam Newton and Joe Burrow. What changed since the spring is footwork and command. In May and June, Mendoza worked mostly with developmental players. Now he takes the full second team load, and he told reporters that understanding the schematics has helped him calm down. Levi Edwards of Raiders.com noted his best throws. Thursday went down the field to Brandon Johnson. He is 6'5", 225 pounds, and he wears number 15. Aiden O'Connell is the 3rd quarterback and has been sharp. This room is not a competition anybody is losing, which is a strange sentence about a team that scored the fewest points in football. Now flip sides, because the defense is why this camp feels different. Max Crosby had left knee surgery in January to repair a torn meniscus, and he missed all of OTAs and mandatory minicamp. He was on the field for every first team rep of practice number 1. By Thursday, he was living in the backfield, forcing Cousins off his spot. In 15 games last season, Crosby posted 10 sacks, 73 tackles, and a career-high 28 tackles for loss. Then watch the team shut him down for the final 2 games. He is 28 years old with 69.5 career sacks, the 3rd most in franchise history. Quay Walker said he and Nakobe Dean noticed it from the sideline, and his reaction was simply, "Man, Mac's flying." Both linebackers cost the Raiders $76.5 million combined. Both are 25 years old, and both played together at Georgia. They were signed for the same reason. This team missed too many tackles in 2025. Walker put up a career-high 128 tackles in Green Bay with a missed tackle rate of 4.5%, which is elite for the position. Dean arrives with a Super Bowl ring and 4 sacks in 10 games last season. Friday delivered the first scare. Kwity Paye walked off during an individual period with the trainer and did not return, and Malcolm Koonce replaced him with the ones and nearly sacked Cousins late. Kubiak said the team is trying to be smart this time, ahead of the padded days, and he also said 90% of this roster has not established a role yet. That is the honest caveat here. Nobody has hit anybody yet, and every defensive line rep taken in shorts is a projection rather than a result. Here's the part nobody is saying out loud. Kubiak's Seattle offense finished third in the NFL in scoring last season at 28.4 points per game and set a franchise record with 483 points. The Raiders finished dead last at 241 points across 17 games, which works out to 14.2 per game, and dead last in total yards at 4,168. Close even half of that gap, and this offense adds roughly 120 points over a season. That is not a fantasy projection. That is arithmetic on a coaching change. The mechanism is not a star receiver. Seattle lined up in 21 and 22 personnel, the 5th most of any offense in the league last season, per NFL Next Gen stats, and Las Vegas is already building toward it. Connor Hayward is taking fullback reps, and rookie tight end Patrick Gurd is taking them behind him. Michael Mayer is the second tight end, and he is not a decoy in this scheme. Ashton Jeanty ran for 975 yards on 266 carries and forced 61 missed tackles as a rookie, per Pro Football Focus, behind the worst offensive line in football. Heavy personnel protects him and the quarterback at once. Then there is the number that should worry the division. Seattle went through the entire 2025 postseason without a single giveaway. The first team in league history to win a Super Bowl during a multiple game playoff run without turning the ball over. Sam Darnold threw for 4,048 yards with 24 touchdowns inside that system. Las Vegas threw a league-worst 17 interceptions last season and allowed a league-worst 55 sacks. Ball security is the whole philosophy of this staff, and it is the single thing this roster failed at most. Look at the roster math and start with the player from the opening. Tonka Hemingway was the 135th pick in 2025, a 4th-round tackle out of South Carolina, who stands 6'3" and weighs 284 pounds. He played 9 games, started none, and took 195 snaps. He finished with 4 sacks, 2 of them in the finale against Kansas City, the most by a Raiders rookie since Max Crosby had 10 in 2019. Rob Leonard was asked what stands out and answered maturity, consistency, then added that Hemingway learned his routine from Crosby. The interior is still a fight. Adam Butler, Jonah Laulu, Thomas Booker, Benito Jones, and J.J. Pegues are all competing for a rotation with real room in it. That is also why Vita Vea keeps coming up. Vea requested a trade from Tampa Bay this week, and ESPN's Jeremy Fowler listed Las Vegas among the logical fits because John Spytek helped draft him in 2018. Vea is 31, owed $18 million this season, and has not been practicing. Tampa Bay says it is not trading him, and the Raiders carry roughly $14 million in space. Treat that as smoke. The rest of the class is showing up early. Rookie guard Trey Zoon III took second-team center and third-team right guard reps Friday, and he sailed 1 snap over Mendoza's head, which is what Week 1 looks like. Jermod McCoy has now practiced 3 straight days after the knee injury that dropped him to pick 101. Hezekiah Massis keeps working with the ones, while Traden Stukes and Dalton Johnson add 2 more rookie safeties. Kubiak made it clear that everybody in that room is going to play special teams. Move to the division because that is the actual bar. Denver won the AFC West last season at 5-1 in division play, swept Kansas City for the first time since 2014, and swept Las Vegas for the second straight year. Their defense has led the NFL in sacks in each of the last 2 seasons. Bo Nix threw for 3,931 yards before an ankle injury in the divisional round required surgery. Denver traded for Jalen Waddle to pair with Courtland Sutton, and Sean Payton handed play calling to 31-year-old Davis Webb, who has never called a game. Kansas City is the wild card. Patrick Mahomes tore 2 ligaments in his left knee in a week. 15 lost to the Chargers and had surgery the next day. He is expected back for the opener against Denver on September 14th. But how much he can move is a question nobody answers in July. Los Angeles kept Justin Herbert, Khalil Mack, and Derwin James, and Chris O'Leary takes over that defense. Every team in this division has a real question now. The schedule is unkind. Las Vegas hosts Miami in Week 1, then takes a bye in Week 3, which is absurdly early. From Week 4 through Week 11, the Raiders face 6 playoff teams from last season inside a 7-game stretch, with Kansas City, New England, Buffalo, and the Rams all landing in October. They also carry the 3rd worst rest differential in the league. A 2-1 start is realistic. A 3-5 first half would not mean this rebuild failed. Back to the move that fell apart. On March 6th, the Raiders agreed to send Max Crosby to Baltimore for 2 first-round picks, including the 14th overall selection. Baltimore had never traded a first-round pick for a veteran player in 31 years of existence. Crosby flew to Maryland, posted a goodbye video to Raider Nation, and took a physical and an MRI on March 10th. Baltimore backed out the next day over medical concerns that neither side has ever detailed publicly. Agreed on a Friday, dead by the following Wednesday. Roughly 13 hours later, Baltimore signed Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year contract worth $112 million. Crosby went home. He said on his podcast that he is meant to be a Raider and called the stretch the wildest roller coaster of his life. Las Vegas kept the best player in its building and never received the 14th pick. That is the transaction that shaped this roster more than any signing did, and almost nobody frames it that way. Follow the money from there. Without that pick, John Spytek could not add an interior lineman early, so he paid Tyler Linderbaum $81 million over 3 years and made him the highest paid offensive player in the free agent class. Then he took Trey Zune III in the 3rd round. Colton Miller, Jackson Powers Johnson, Spencer Burford, and DJ Glaze fill the rest, with Rick Dennison coaching them rep by rep. The failed trade did not cost the Raiders a pass rusher. It bought them an offensive line. So where does this land? This is 3 practices in shorts, and I am not going to pretend that tells you a season. Pads change everything, and the first padded day is when the offensive line and the interior defensive line stop being theories and start being answers. But the direction is real. This team scored 14.2 points per game last season, and then hired the coordinator whose offense scored 28.4. Kubiak is also the 4th head coach this franchise has hired since 2022. Here's my number. The Raiders win 9 games, and Denver does not sweep them again. That is the claim, and the argument against it is easy enough to make. The schedule is brutal, the receiver room has no proven number 1, and Kirk Cousins turns 38 during the season. Miami in Week 1 is the game that sets the tone for all of it. Drop your record prediction in the comments and subscribe before the next breakdown lands, because pads go on next week and everything changes. One more thing to sit with. Clint Kubiak won a Super Bowl in Seattle with a quarterback nobody wanted 2 years earlier in a receiver room built from the inside out. Las Vegas already has the tight end, the running back, and the number 1 overall pick. The piece nobody has solved is receiver. Jack Besh, Donnie Thornton Jr., and Malik Benson are all fighting for that job, and that competition is going to decide more about this season then the quarterback battle will.